Awakening the ancient fleet. The Antarctic ice groaned and shifted as Dr. Elena Kostova's drilling team pushed deeper than any human expedition had gone before. 3 miles beneath the surface, where the pressure crushed ordinary equipment and the cold penetrated even their most advanced thermal gear, they had detected something impossible, a perfect geometric structure embedded in Earth's most ancient ice. "Signals getting stronger," Elena murmured, her breath fogging in the subterranean cavern they'd carved out over the past 8 months. The readouts on her tablet showed energy signatures unlike anything recorded in scientific literature. "Whatever's down there, it's active." Captain Marcus Chen, the military liaison assigned to the international expedition, studied the holographic projection of their target. "Active for how long?" "That's the thing," Elena replied, tucking a strand of dark hair back into her thermal hood. "Carbon dating the surrounding ice suggests this structure has been here for at least 2 million years." The team of 12 researchers and their security detail had been following a trail of anomalies, strange mineral deposits, unexplained radiation, and most intriguingly, microscopic machines that seemed to repair themselves when damaged. When the UN Security Council finally authorized the deep drilling operation, even Elena hadn't expected to find something this significant. The drill head suddenly broke through into an open space, and warning alarms blared across their monitoring equipment. "Pressure stabilizing," called out Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka, their geophysicist. There's an atmosphere down there." "That's impossible," Elena whispered, but the readings didn't lie. Somehow, 2 miles beneath Antarctica's ice, they had discovered a pocket of breathable air. 4 hours later, Elena led the descent team down a perfectly circular shaft that had no business existing. The walls glowed with a faint blue luminescence that required no apparent power source. The team's heavy boots echoed on surfaces that appeared metallic despite being warm to the touch. "These markings," Elena said, running her gloved fingers over intricate patterns etched into the walls. "They're similar to the Voynich manuscript symbols, but older. Much older." The shaft opened into a vast chamber that defied the laws of physics. It stretched for what seemed like miles in every direction, far larger than their ground-penetrating radar had suggested was possible. In the center stood a simple pedestal with a handprint impression. "Don't touch anything," Captain Chen warned, but Elena was already moving forward, drawn by an instinct she couldn't explain. "I've seen this before," she murmured. "In my dreams." Before anyone could stop her, Elena placed her hand on the impression. The fit was perfect. The chamber hummed to life, and light flooded from hidden sources as a voice spoke directly into their minds. Genetic verification confirmed. "Welcome, inheritor." Above the pedestal, the air shimmered and filled with stars, a holographic map of the galaxy. As they watched, certain stars pulsed with light, forming a network that spanned vast interstellar distances. "What is this?" Chen demanded, weapon raised instinctively though there was nothing to aim at. The voice answered, "You stand within Earth's command core. The progenitor fleet awaits reactivation." Elena stared at the map, where Earth pulsed with the brightest light. "Earth's command core. I don't understand." "Your planet is not merely a world. It is the flagship of the progenitor defense network, disguised and dormant. You are the descendants of those who created it, programmed to evolve, and one day reclaim your inheritance." The revelation stunned the team into silence. The hologram shifted to show Earth, not as they knew it, but as something else entirely. Beneath the continents and oceans lay intricate machinery, weapon systems, and propulsion drives of unimaginable power. That's impossible," Dr. Tanaka whispered. The voice continued. "All celestial bodies in your system marked on this map are components of the fleet. They await your command." The map highlighted Mars, Venus, and several moons of Jupiter and Saturn. Even some asteroids pulsed with the same identifying light. "Why now?" Elena asked. "Why is this activating now?" "Perimeter alert protocols initiated 17 of your Earth years ago, when long-range sensors detected approaching vessels. Genetic awakening sequences were triggered in potential inheritors. Captain Chen stepped forward. "You're saying something's coming. Hostile forces." "Correct. The concordat approaches. They have detected the defense network's automatic reactivation sequence and seek to neutralize it before full deployment." "The concordat?" Elena asked. "A federation of species that rose after the progenitors departed. They fear the power of the fleet and what its return means for their dominance." Before they could process this information, an urgent call came through on their comms. The research base on the surface was tracking multiple objects entering the solar system, objects changing direction and accelerating in ways no natural phenomenon could explain. "How long do we have?" Chen demanded. "The concordat fleet will reach Earth in 72 hours. Elena's mind raced. If Earth is a ship, how do we activate it? How do we defend ourselves? Full activation requires synchronized control from all primary vessels. Mars must be awakened first as the defensive vanguard." Chen was already contacting his superiors, relaying the impossible information, while Elena studied the holographic controls that had appeared around the pedestal. "We need to get to Mars," she said. "Immediately." 48 hours later, the UN Security Council had authorized an emergency mission to the Red Planet. Elena and a small team, including Captain Chen, deployed to Olympus Mons, where the Martian control core was supposedly hidden. The images from deep space telescopes confirmed what the voice had told them. Over 30 alien vessels were approaching, the largest nearly the size of Earth's moon. As their lander touched down on the Martian surface, Elena felt the same strange pull that had drawn her to the Antarctic pedestal. She led the team unerringly to a location near the mountain's base, where red dust swirled in unnatural patterns. "Here," she said, kneeling and placing her palm against the soil. The ground beneath them trembled and parted, revealing another shaft leading deep into the planet. As they descended, emergency communications from Earth reported that the alien fleet had accelerated. Their new estimated arrival, less than 24 hours. The Martian control chamber was similar to Earth's, but dominated by what appeared to be weapon systems displays. When Elena activated the console, the voice spoke again. "Defensive systems powering up. Mars awakening protocol initiated." On the surface above, the planet began to change. Vast sections of Martian crust shifted, revealing gleaming metal structures that had lain dormant for millennia. Olympus Mons itself split open, transforming into what could only be described as a massive cannon array. Back on Earth, similar transformations began, though more subtly to protect the billions of humans living on its surface. Mountain ranges rearranged themselves into defense platforms. The ocean floors revealed hidden launch bays, and deep in the planet's core, ancient engines stirred to life. The first alien vessel appeared in orbit around Earth just as Elena and her team returned from Mars. A transmission broadcast on all frequencies and in perfect English. "People of Earth, I am High Commander Vextar of the Galactic Concordat. The technology you have activated is forbidden. Cease all operations immediately or face eradication." World leaders hastily assembled a response team, with Elena and Chen among the advisors. As the alien ships positioned themselves in a blockade formation, humanity faced an impossible choice: surrender the newly discovered technology they barely understood, or risk a war they couldn't possibly win. Elena studied the holographic displays now accessible from multiple locations around the globe. "There's something they're not telling us," she said. "The Concordat isn't just afraid of these ships. They're afraid of us. Of what we might remember." "Remember what?" Chen asked. Before she could answer, the chamber's eye spoke. "Primary memory restoration is now available for inheritor-class individuals." A section of the wall retracted, revealing what appeared to be two sleek metal chairs with unusual neural interfaces. "What does that mean?" Elena asked. "Your ancestors embedded racial memory within your genetic code. These memories were suppressed to protect you during development, but can now be accessed." Elena approached one of the chairs. "If I do this, Will I understand how to operate the defense systems? You will understand everything the progenitors wished you to know. Chen gripped her arm. Elena, we don't know what this will do to you. She met his gaze steadily. We don't have a choice. The concordat ships are powering weapons. We have maybe an hour before they decide waiting is too risky. With that, she sat in the chair. Neural filaments extended gently, connecting with her temples and spine. Elena gasped as ancient memories flooded her consciousness, not just technical knowledge of the ships, but the history of her species. Humans weren't native to Earth as they'd always believed. They were the descendants of the progenitors, a spacefaring civilization that had faced extinction at the hands of an enemy so terrible they had hidden their children, humanity, on a camouflaged warship and suppressed their advanced knowledge until they would be needed again. And now, that time had come. Belena's eyes snapped open, glowing slightly with the neural connection still active. I know what we need to do, she said, her voice overlaid with newfound certainty. As the concordat prepared to fire their first salvos, Earth's defense systems came online under Elena's guidance. Mars, now fully awakened as a defensive platform, moved into position to protect its sister ship. And deep within the asteroid belt, other components of the ancient fleet began to stir. The galaxy was about to learn what humanity had forgotten. They were never prey. They were the most dangerous predators the stars had ever known. And they were waking up. Guardians of the Stars. High Commander Vextar's flagship hung in Earth orbit, weapons primed but holding fire as the planet beneath them continued its impossible transformation. On the command deck, the tall, gray-skinned alien watched with compound eyes that betrayed no emotion. Magnify Sector 7, he ordered, and the view screen zoomed in on the Himalayan mountain range, which was reconfiguring itself into what appeared to be a massive energy weapon. The awakening is happening too quickly, said his second-in-command, Sub-Commander Zrel. The progenitor safeguards should have prevented this level of integration without centuries of preparation. Vextar's mouthparts clicked in irritation. They were always unpredictable. That's what made them so dangerous. He turned to the communications officer. Any response from the humans? Yes, Commander. They're requesting a direct meeting. They claim to have recovered progenitor memories. This news sent a ripple of unease through the command deck. If true, it changed everything. Down on Earth, Elena Kostova stood before the United Nations Security Council, her eyes still faintly luminous from the neural connection she maintained with Earth's systems. The concordat isn't telling us everything, she explained. They didn't come here to protect us or the galaxy. They came to ensure we never discover our true potential. And what exactly is that potential? Asked the Secretary General. We're not just the descendants of the progenitors, Elena said. We're their final solution. A species designed to evolve beyond even their capabilities, hidden in plain sight until we were ready. Captain Chin, who had also undergone the memory restoration process, stepped forward. The progenitors fought a war against something they called the Void, an entity or force that consumed entire civilizations. They created the planet ships as a last resort, but knew they wouldn't survive to use them. So they created us, encoded their knowledge in our DNA, and disguised Earth as an ordinary planet where we could develop naturally. The concordat arose afterward, Elena continued. They found abandoned progenitor technology and built their federation using it. They've known about Earth for millennia, but believed the ship was dead, the activation codes lost. They'd been watching us, waiting for signs of awakening. The council chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity wasn't just facing an alien threat. They were reclaiming a legacy that would reshape the power dynamics of the entire galaxy. What do you propose? The Secretary General finally asked. A demonstration, Elena replied. Show them what Mars can do, but offer peace. The concordat fears us because they don't understand us. The progenitors weren't conquerors, they were guardians. The UN authorized the plan, and Elena returned to the Antarctic Command Center to coordinate with the team now on Mars. As Chen prepared the diplomatic contingent that would meet with the concordat representatives, Elena connected more deeply with Earth's systems. Through the neural interface, she could sense Mars as if it were an extension of her own body, a powerful, vigilant sentinel awaiting commands. She directed it to target a small, uninhabited asteroid in the belt and fire a precision shot that would demonstrate their capabilities without threatening the concordat fleet. Mars's primary weapon, what humans had innocently named Olympus Mons for millions of years, powered up, energy gathering at its peak. The resulting beam split the asteroid cleanly in half, the precision of the shot making it clear this was a controlled demonstration, not a wild use of power. The concordat ships immediately shifted formation, weapons hot. They're targeting Mars, Elena warned over the comms to Chen. Defensive screens active. The first concordat volley splashed harmlessly against Mars's energy shields. Elena could have retaliated but held back, following the diplomatic plan. Chen's voice came through the neural link. We're boarding their flagship now. Keep everything stable. On the concordat vessel, Chen led a small delegation including military officers and scientists. They were escorted to the command deck where High Commander Vextar waited. Your demonstration was unnecessary, the alien said without preamble. As was your attack, Chen replied calmly. We didn't come to fight. We came to understand why you fear us so much. Vextar's compound eyes fixed on Chen. We don't fear you. We fear what you might become. The progenitors were not the benevolent guardians your recovered memories might suggest. They were architects of destruction. That's not true, Chen said. They fought to protect life throughout the galaxy. Is that what they showed you? Vextar activated a holographic display. This is what the progenitors did to the last civilization that opposed them. The image showed a star system in ruins, planets cracked open like eggs. Chen maintained his composure, though the images were disturbing. The void had already infested those worlds, he said with certainty born from restored memories. The progenitors contained the infection before it could spread. Vextar seemed surprised by Chen's knowledge. Then you know about the void. We know everything, Chen bluffed, though their recovered memories were still fragmentary. We know the concordat has been using salvaged progenitor technology without understanding its true purpose. The planet ships weren't built for conquest. They were built as a last line of defense against the void's return. Back on Earth, Elena was making similar discoveries as she delved deeper into the recovered data. The progenitors hadn't just been fighting other civilizations. They'd been fighting something that corrupted and consumed entire species from within. The void wasn't just an enemy. It was a cosmic infection. And according to the latest data she was uncovering, it was stirring again. Captain, she communicated to Chen through their neural link. There's more at stake here than concordat politics. The defensive network was created because the progenitors predicted the void would return in approximately 50,000 years. According to their calculations, we're overdue. On the concordat ship, Chen received Elena's message mentally and understood the new urgency. They didn't have time for prolonged diplomatic maneuvering. Commander Vextar, he said, I believe we have a common enemy, one that threatens both of us more than we threaten each other. He shared what Elena had discovered, watching as the alien commander's demeanor shifted from hostility to concern. These calculations, Vextar said, examining the data Chen provided, they match anomalies our deep space outposts have been reporting. Systems going dark at the galaxy's edge. For the first time, human and concordat interests aligned. If the void was returning, the planet ships might be the galaxy's only defense. Over the next several days, an uneasy alliance formed. The concordat withdrew to a safe distance, but remained in the solar system, watching as Earth continued its transformation. Other celestial bodies in the system began to awaken as well. Venus emerging as a manufacturing center, Jupiter's moons revealing themselves as sensor arrays and secondary weapons platforms. Elena coordinated it all from Earth's command core. Her consciousness expanded through the neural interface until she could perceive the entire solar system as a single, unified defense network. More humans with the right genetic markers were identified and connected to the system, sharing the burden of control. Earth itself changed the least visibly, its transformation happening beneath the surface to protect its inhabitants. The oceans and atmosphere, life support systems for the ship's crew, remained intact, though enhanced. Mountains and tectonic plates shifted slowly into more advantageous configurations, causing earthquakes but no catastrophic damage. 3 weeks after first contact, the newly formed Earth Council received the confirmation they had been dreading. A concordat deep space outpost had gone silent, and the last transmission showed something consuming the very fabric of space around it. The void had returned. "How long do we have?" asked the Secretary General during an emergency session. Alina, her eyes now permanently luminous from constant neural connection, studied the projections. 6 months until it reaches inhabited systems, perhaps a year before it threatens Earth. "Are we ready?" Chen asked. He had become the military commander of Earth's forces, coordinating with both human armies and the newly awakened automated defense systems. "Not yet," Alina admitted, "but we will be." The planet ships were designed for exactly this threat, and as more of their systems came online, humanity's understanding of their capabilities grew. They weren't just weapons platforms, they were arcs, designed to preserve life even if stars themselves went dark. The concordat, facing extinction, reluctantly accepted humanity's leadership in the coming conflict. Their ships took position alongside the awakening fleet, crews training to fight alongside weapons they had feared for millennia. 1 year later, as the void approached the edges of the solar system, humanity's transformation was complete. Earth had fully awakened as the command ship of the progenitor fleet. Mars stood ready as its primary defender. The other planet ships had assumed their roles in the battle formation. And humanity itself had changed, not physically but fundamentally in its understanding of its place in the cosmos. They weren't just another species finding its way among the stars. They were the inheritors of a sacred trust, guardians against a darkness that threatened all life. As the first tendrils of the void appeared at the system's edge, Alina gave the order that activated the full might of Earth and its sister ships. The solar system itself seemed to come alive with energy, weapons beyond human imagination powering up. All ships, all stations, she broadcast to both human and concordat forces, "Remember what we fight for. Not just for ourselves, but for all life, everywhere." Captain Chen, standing beside her in the command core, watched as the fleet moved into formation. "Do you think the progenitors knew what we would become?" he asked. Alina smiled, the wisdom of a million-year legacy behind her eyes. "They didn't just know it," she said. "They counted on it." As the void approached, the planet ships moved to intercept, humanity at their helm. The galaxy was about to witness what the progenitors had always known, that their children would one day rise to become the greatest guardians the stars had ever seen. And the stars themselves seemed to hold their breath as the battle for everything began.